Hello and welcome. This is McGoobage. My name is Andy and this is a fairly new YouTube channel. For those of you that have seen my channel before, you would have seen that I did 2 playthrough series last season and got sacked twice in non-league. I'm useless with tactics. The thing is, I know there are plenty of people out there that also are. You're a bit like me, you struggle. So, I've been on the community forums, I've been around different websites, and I'm going to put together a tactical experiment. Now this experiment will be 4 of the most popular tactics tested with every single Premier League team, starting with the top 6 this week and then moving forward to the rest of the Premier League, just to see how effective they actually are. Now there are 2 types of people that play Football Manager, in my view. It's those that have the time to create and develop their own tactics, and there are those that don't have the time, that would love to have the time to develop their own tactics but need to play the game for an hour or a couple of hours a day or a couple of hours a week. They just want to download a popular one and give it a whirl. Hopefully these videos will give you a bit of a guide as to what tactics work with each team to help get me started. Let's get straight into it. Tactic number 1 is by Knap, who's a popular poster on the forums, the SI community forums, and it's the 4-2-3-1 Beowulf. There's plenty of different versions on here. He tests I think on FM Touch and things like that. It's the Giraffin version that we're going to be using. That is tactic number 1. That's a 4-2-3-1 formation. I'll go into it when we get into the game, but that's tactic number 1. Tactic number 2 is by Fuss, Minimal Fuss, Fastidious I should say. Again, a regular poster. He's a regular poster on this particular forum, and I'm using the stable version 2. So all the links to the tactics will be in the description. Minimal Fuss, Fastidious, version 2, the 4-1-2-2-1 formation. Tactic number 3 is by Rossler, who is another brilliant technician, and he's a regular poster on the forums. His is the Steadfast, the flat 4-1-4-1 formation. Very, very popular, and again he has a lot of success with his tactics. This will be implemented as tactic number 3. Tactic number 4 will be Jamie's 4-2-3-1 attacking Catenaccio with set pieces. This is a very popular tactic on his Twitch channel, and this is going to be tactic number 4. Hello and welcome to the next episode in my tactical testing series. I'm McGoobage, and this today is Fulham. If you've not seen any one of these videos before, you've just seen the intro. Just to give you bullet points again, we're going to load the whole season through as on holiday as a manager. If you look at the way the game's set up, all the staff will take over responsibilities. I'm not in charge of anything. The assistant manager does the training, does the tactical briefings. The managing director and director of football deals with all the hiring and firing and new contracts. And as I say, we just load through the season on holiday. Now, also worth noting is that we pick players that are the strongest based on their abilities. Now this is for consistency through every single one of the 20 videos I'm going to do, and as I say, it's for consistency only. Obviously if there's players that I'm not going to put an attacking right winger as a left back, let's be honest. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the most strongest players in their positions. In some cases they won't be natural. But for example, if you've got a right winger, an attacking midfielder, I will play him on the left wing. In one of the tactics, there's a left midfielder or a wide midfielder. It won't be ridiculous things, as I said, like a right winger playing left back. So today's video is all about Fulham and what we can achieve with the 4 tactics that are the most popular on the forum. So tactic number 1 is the Knap Beowulf, the triple-set-tick attacker style attacking tactic. It's 4-2-3-1 wide. In possession, shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses. Run at defence, work the ball into the box, looking for the fullbacks to overlap on both sides, slightly lower tempo. Transition, you take the short kicks and distribute to fullbacks, counter press, and out of possession you defend narrower, with a high defensive line and therefore a line of engagement. Extremely urgent, you prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, get stuck in using tighter marking, and use of the offside trap. So in this formation, the 4-2-3-1 wide, Rico's in goal on defend, 2 wing backs on attack, Le Marchand and Fosu Mensah. Mawson and Chambers are ball playing defenders on defend. In midfield, Kearney is deep line playmaker on support. Seri is box-to-box midfielder support. 2 inside forwards, Sessegnon and Schürrle on support with Johansson as the attacking midfielder on attack. Up front, Mitrovic as the advanced forward on attack. Let's see how this plays out. So, Fulham finished 14th and a disappointing 14th, 44 points. In saying that, they're only 3 points off 11th place and 5 points off of 8th. So it's very, very tight. Let's just have a look at the schedule. So, Premier League, they started off with a win against Brighton, drew with West Ham, then lost against Man United. In the EFL Cup, they beat Lincoln away in the second round 3-2. Lost to Crystal Palace, beat Wolves, drew with Southampton Premier League, and then beat Crewe EFL Cup third round. Beat Tottenham away Premier League 3-0. And a bad month in October. Lost to Watford, drew with Arsenal, and lost to Huddersfield in the Premier League. Lost to local rivals Chelsea EFL Cup fourth round. Into November, they beat Cardiff, but then lost to Liverpool Man City Premier League. Then in December, they won. Beat Chelsea 7-1 away from home. Wow. I'm a Chelsea fan, and that's unreal. Great result for Fulham. Lost to Bournemouth after that. Beat Leicester. Lost to Brighton. Beat Everton. Lost to Newcastle. So real inconsistent there. 3 wins, 3 defeats in December. Moving forward to January now. Beat West Ham in the Premier League, but then lost to them in the FA Cup third round. Lost to Burnley. Defeated heavily to Man United. 5-1 away. Picked up by beating Crystal Palace and Wolves. Drew with Southampton. Lost to Tottenham. Drew with Watford. Lost heavily to Arsenal in February. Into March now, they lost to Huddersfield. Beat Cardiff convincingly away. Then lost to Liverpool, heavy defeat. Drew with Man City. Lost to Burnley. Another big win against Chelsea, this time at home in the Premier League 4-1. Lost to Bournemouth. Drew with Leicester. Lost to Newcastle and drew with Everton. So it was a real inconsistent season, going from the sublime one week to the ridiculous the next. Player-wise, let's have a look at average ratings. And this is based on the players that have played the majority of the season. So, Seri, 7.16. Mitrovic, 7.05. Rico, 6.95. Kearney, 6.94. And Mawson, 6.87. Goals, look at this. Mitrovic, 26 goals from 40 games and 2 assists. Seri, 9 from 39 and 10. Johansson, 7 from 39 and 5. And Schürrle, 6 from 42 and 8. So, Mitrovic outstanding, but it's a disappointing, inconsistent season. That's tactic number 1. To tactic number 2, and tactic number 2, as you all know by now if you've seen these videos, is the fastidious tactic. It's 4-1-4-1 DM wide, but the mentality is positive, and it's worth noting this has the least instruction. So in possession, shorter passing, play out of defence, work the ball into the box, lower tempo and waste time. Transition, you roll it out, distribute to fullbacks, counter and counter press. Out of possession, higher defensive line, prevent the short goalkeeper distribution, use of the offside trap. Again, it's a 4-1-4-1, so Rico, sweeper keeper on defend, 2 wing backs on support, Lamarchand, Fosu-Mensah. Mawson and Chambers are the central defenders on defend this time. Seri drops back to a defensive midfielder on defend. Johansson's box-to-box midfielder on support. Kearney's and Mazzala on attack, with 2 inside forwards on support, Sessegnon and Schürrle. Mitrovic this time is a deep line forward on attack. Let's see if he can beat his 26 goals. This is better. Tactic number 2. Fulham finished 10th, 49 points, 15 away from 7th in the Europa League place, but only 4 behind 8th place. This is a good performance. If you look at their league positions, it's very inconsistent. Started off quite badly, then sort of picked up, managed to stabilise. So let's have a look at the schedule. So, started off unbeaten in the Premier League in August by beating Brighton first game, then West Ham, drew with Man United, beat Notts County on penalties in the EFL Cup second round, then beat Crystal Palace away in the Premier League, drew with Wolves and Southampton, so 6 games unbeaten in the Premier League. They lost to Preston in the EFL Cup third round on penalties, Then drew with Tottenham, so 7-game unbeaten start for Liverpool, for Fulham in the Premier League, which is good. Then it begins to unravel a bit. Lost to Watford, drew with Arsenal, lost to Huddersfield, drew with Cardiff, lost heavily to Liverpool 5-1, then lost to Man City. So October and November are a bit of a nightmare. Into December now, they beat Burnley, lost to Chelsea, beat Bournemouth, Leicester and Brighton. Then they lost to Everton and Newcastle. Into January now, they drew with West Ham, drew with Wolves in the FA Cup third round and lost the replay. In between that, got thumped by Man United 6-1 away, Premier League, which is not good. Lost to Crystal Palace, but then picked up and beat Wolves. February now, they drew with Southampton, beat Tottenham, drew with Watford and then lost to Arsenal. March, they drew with Huddersfield and Cardiff, lost to Man City. So you can see where these points are going. Lost to Liverpool in April, beat Burnley, lost to Chelsea, drew with Bournemouth, beat Leicester, drew with Newcastle and beat Everton. So it was those months around January with those defeats and also these draws, too many draws unfortunately, which prevented them from pushing for the Europa League. But a 10th place finish is still good. Player ratings. Le Marchand 6.96, Mawson 6.96, Seri 6.96, Rico 6.90 and Schürrle 6.88. So 3 defensive players in the top 5. Goals, Mitrovic only 12 from 42, with Schürrle 6 from 42, Johansson 5 from 38 and Sessegnon 5 from 42. So, inconsistent season, but they finished 10th, which is a better performance. That's tactic number 2. Okay, so tactic number 3 is the Rosler Steadfast 4-1-4-1 version 2. It's a 4-1-4-1 DM formation. It's attacking tactic. In possession, shorter passing, pass to space, play out of defence, low crosses, work the ball into the box, run at defence, play through the middle this time. In transition, short kicks, counter press, out of possession, defend narrower, high defensive line, much higher line of engagement, extremely urgent, short goalkeeper distribution and use of the offside trap. Rico sweeper keeper on defending goal with 2 complete wing-backs this time on attack. Le Marchand and Fosu Mensah. Mawson and Chambers are central defenders on defend. Seri's a half-back in a deeper position this time on defend. Sessegnon and Schürrle are wide midfielders on attack. 2 box-to-box midfielders on support, Kearney and Johansson. Mitrovic is a false 9 on support up front. Let's see how this plays out. So, better still, Fulham finished 7th in the Europa League place on 60 points. They were only 4 points off the Champions League positions. Liverpool won the league by a mile. Man City, Tottenham, Chelsea, Man United, Arsenal and Fulham in 7th. Let's have a look at the schedule. Started off with a draw against Brighton, beat West Ham, a big win in the Premier League, away, drew with Man United, got thumped by Everton, EFL Cup, second round. Then, big defeat away to Crystal Palace, another defeat to Wolves, drew with Southampton, another big defeat to Tottenham. Into October, drew with Watford, big defeat to Arsenal, big win away against Huddersfield, followed by another win away, or at home this time against Cardiff, 4-3. Lost to Liverpool, drew with Man City, lost to Burnley, lost to Chelsea, beat Bournemouth, lost 4-5 to Leicester, beat Brighton, big win against Everton, then lost to Newcastle. And it looks as though the players then found their feet from January onwards with only 1 Premier League defeat. So, we start off with West Ham beating them in the Premier League. Beat Watford, FA Cup third round. Beat Man United, drew with Crystal Palace, lost heavily FA Cup fourth round away at Man City. Beat Wolves, Premier League. Drew with Southampton and Tottenham. Beat Watford, then lost to Arsenal. And then we've got a 10-game unbeaten run. If you think in all competitions, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and that's 20. 2 defeats in 20 games with how many draws? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 draws. Not too bad. So we move forward to March, the unbeaten run. Beat Huddersfield, beat Cardiff, drew with Liverpool, beat Man City, drew with Burnley, big win against Chelsea, beat Bournemouth, beat Leicester, beat Newcastle and drew with Everton. So, as I said, we've got ourselves a 7th place finish, which is outstanding. Player ratings. So, Kearney 7.16, Mitrovic 7.09, Seri 7.07, Schürrle 7.06, Johansson 7.03. Goals, Mitrovic 20 from 41 and 5 assists, Schürrle 12 from 40, 6 assists, Johansson 11 from 30 and 2. That's been tactic number 3 and it's been impressive. To the final tactic, the FM Scout Catanaccio. It's the attacking 4-2-3-1 wide. In possession, shorter passing to space, play out of defence, low crosses, work the ball into the box. And then focus played on the left and right this time, which is different from the first tactic. The first tactic looks for overlaps. This is focusing the play down those sides with slightly lower tempo. In transition, distribute to fullbacks, counter press. Out of possession, defend narrower, high defensive line of engagement. Extremely urgent, short goalkeeper distribution. Get stuck in, use the tighter marking and the offside trap. Apologies for the plane. So in goal, goalkeeper and defend, Rico. 2 wing-backs on attack, Lamarchand and Fosa Mensah. Again, you've got 2 ball-playing defenders on defend, Mawson and Chambers. Deep line playmaker on support, Johansson. Box-to-box, Seri, support. Sessegnon inside forward on support. Schürrle inside forward support. Kearney this time has swapped with Johansson and is now an attacking midfielder on attack. Mitrovic, the advanced forward on attack. Let's see how it plays out. Fulham finished 7th again, another Europa League finish, and this time they were quite some way off of the Champions League. They were off by 15 points. Let's have a look at the schedule. So, Premier League. Started off by beating Brighton, a big win against West Ham. Drew with Man United, then beat Hull EFL Cup second round. Drew with Crystal Palace, a big win against Wolves, and then a big win against Southampton. So they started off 6 games unbeaten in the Premier League. Lost to Watford, FA Cup third round. Then lost to Tottenham Premier League, 4 straight defeats. Tottenham first, followed by Watford, Arsenal and Huddersfield in October, which was not good. Then another unbeaten run here by 3, 6, 9 games this time, Premier League, by beating Cardiff, drawing with Liverpool, beat Man City, beat Burnley, beat Chelsea away, beat Bournemouth, drew with Leicester, beat Brighton and then beat Everton, which was good. Lost to Newcastle and then West Ham. So, FA Cup third round, beat Lincoln, beat Man United, big win against Crystal Palace, then beat Watford, FA Cup fourth round even. Lost to Wolves Premier League. Beat Southampton, lost to Tottenham, drew with Huddersfield FA Cup 5th round but won the replay to go through to the 6th round. Beat Watford in the Premier League. Beat Huddersfield Premier League, drew with Cardiff, then look at this, FA Cup 6th round, beat Man United. Lost heavily to Man City Premier League and Liverpool. FA Cup semi-final, they beat Newcastle to go through to the final. They lost to Burnley, lost to Chelsea, beat Bournemouth, lost to Arsenal, beat Leicester, lost to Newcastle and Everton, lost the FA Cup final to Man City, unfortunately. So, good season though, however. Let's have a look at the player performances. Average ratings. So, Kearney 7.24, Sessegnon 7.05, Mawson 7.04, Rico 7.02 and Schürrle 7.01. Goals, Mitrovic 22 from 47, Kearney 14 from 44 and 17 assists, Sessegnon 12 from 47 and 8, with Schürrle 10 from 47 and 10. So, tactic number 4, Europa League finish and the FA Cup final. That's been it. That's been all 4 tactics. Disappointing start, but picked up at the end. This has been Fulham. So that's it. That's the end of this particular tactical test. You can see the 4 tactics with varying levels of success. What do you think of the video? What do you think of those particular tactics? All the links to the tactics are in the description below. If you like the video, please hit the like button for me. It helps me build this channel, and please subscribe for more videos. There'll be a video of every single Premier League team with the same 4 tactics to see how they do. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the bell for notifications for when these next videos come out. Thank you very much. Show your support, and I'd love to know all your comments. Let me know what you think of the tactics. Let me know what you think if you download them and play them. And just, yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.